Yup. Yeah, what's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again with another video from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. And this night I actually want to come to y'all with a video talking about how these anti-Trump protesters are fake and how they are set up. And I've really been doing like a lot of thinking, and I've been doing a whole lot of research and all that. And from what I'm seeing from a lot of these protests, man, these things are actually really fake. You feel what I mean? And I actually saw something recently, you know what I'm saying, how they was up there in Berkeley, you know what I'm saying, over the weekend, how you had the group called Antifa going up against the alt-right and all that. And I pretty much keep seeing these same old groups going up against the alt-right, or the alt-right going up against the far left. But if you ask me right about now, a lot of these protests, man, they are really fucking fake. And part of the reason why I say that, man, because you best believe there's a hidden agenda behind this shit. You understand where I'm coming from? And another reason why I believe that they're fake, because we already know, you know what I'm saying, that what the Donald Trump administration is doing, man, they really trying to get it, they really trying to get this thing up so they can bring in martial law. And you got to really be careful, you know what I'm saying, dealing with groups like Antifa, because for one, you best believe groups like them. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this though, right? I don't mind them fighting up against the alt-right, going up against like fascism, going up against fascism. But it seems to me, you know what I'm saying, it seems like every time when they always showing up at the protests and all that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't fuck with the alt-right, and I'm very skeptical about the group named Antifa, but I'm definitely doing my research up on them. You know, these protests, man, they are really staged. And there's a lot of things that I'm seeing up in the protests and all that shit just you know what I mean, shit just it just does not seem right when I'm looking at the protests, man, because it always seems like there's always some sort of like violent clash going on, especially when you got this group, you know what I'm saying, like Antifa going up against the alt-right. And the reason why I really believe that they're staged, man, because they really want to try to find a way, you know what I'm saying, in order for them to like, you know, they're going to let chaos really build up, and all of a sudden now they're really going to bring in martial law. And I've just been looking at a lot of things, like as far as like a couple of things up in the media, which I really don't trust and all that. But it seems to me like every time when there's a protest, man, it seemed like it always turns out to be violent. Now, what I noticed now when it came down to the Black Lives Matter protests, things of that nature, it always seems like, you know, people were marching peacefully. But I'm going to say the only reason why, you know what I mean, black people, you know what I'm saying, my people, they might have got real violent, you know what I'm saying, it is because, you know, there was some sort of pushback that was actually going on for real, you feel me? But when I'm looking at these protests right about now, you know what I'm saying, when it's coming from like the alt-right and Antifa, it always seems like there's some sort of violent clash that's going on. And it always seems like, you know, and it always seems like those particular groups, they always clashing. And you best believe, man, like when it comes down to it, they definitely going to try to find a way to bring in the militarized police. And then you best believe, like that group, you know what I'm saying, Antifa, from what I've been looking at, man, they actually being funded by George Soros. And you best believe, now, when it comes down to the alt-right, you know what I'm saying, you already know Trump is already backing up for real, because it already showed you, Trump has already showed you, man, he's not really going to back down for white supremacy. Because anytime you're going to be defending the alt-right, but you want to be calling Antifa the alt-left, you best believe, man, that some sort of way this shit is all being staged. Because, you know what I mean, they already got the FEMA camps already set up. They already, Trump has already turned around and changed to where, like, police, they can actually have military gear on. So you already know, man, like, these protests, man, I actually saw something to where as though, like, you know, they be actually, like, bringing in a crisis actors. They've been bringing in like they've been bringing in groups on buses and all that. And it seems to me that when it comes down to these protests, man, they never really talk really bad about these groups like that. They might call them the far left, or they might call them the alt-right. But what I'm saying, man, it seems to me that it's always some sort of the same results. And I'm definitely going to tell my people, man, like when it comes down to these protests, man, stay the fuck out of this shit. Because you best believe, man, like this shit is all coming from the top and all that. And they definitely want to try to find a way to where as though how how they want to bring in, you know what I'm saying, the militarized police, and how they want to, like, you know, in some sort of way, you know what I mean, they definitely want to bring in martial law, and they definitely really going to up the ante when it come down to these protests. Because it's just, when you take a look at a lot of these things, man, the police is not they not even really stepping in to even like stop a lot of this shit. You feel me? Especially when it came down to Charlottesville, Virginia, it was just so many things. Now I'm not going to say that. Now I'm not going to say all of this shit is staged, because I do believe there's a lot of real victims that are in, you know what I mean, that are inside of these protests and all that. But what I found it to be so funny is that it seemed like the same groups and the same people keep on going out there, man, and they keep on fighting one another. And like I said, man, when I was doing some of my research, they show how crisis actors are actually being paid a certain amount of money an hour. They actually show how these groups are really being ushered in on buses, and these groups are being funded by George Soros, just like how they did Black Lives Matter. And I'm just gonna say, man, like, to those of y'all, you know what I mean, like, to my people or anybody else, you better stay the fuck out of these daggone protests, man, because this shit is really getting out of fucking hand. Like I said, like, I do believe some of these demonstrations are really real, like the rally against hate and all that, and how they want to shut down, like how they want to talk about free speech, but they really talk about white supremacy and white extremism. But a lot of this shit, man, is coming from the top, and a lot of this stuff is being staged. And you best believe, like, the media is really getting behind this shit, because what they want to do is they want to normalize all of the violence. They want to normalize, you know what I mean, this hot fictitious mess called white supremacy, which is really deeply rooted into white inferiority anyway. So when it keeps on coming down to these protests and all that, and a lot of these marches, you know what I mean, going up against fascism, like I said, I really do agree, you know what I'm saying, you should be fighting up against white supremacy and fascism. But these protests, man, they are really being funded, man, by George Soros, and it's coming from the top, because they really want to try to find a way to have some sort of like major clash. So eventually, after a while, they definitely going to try to find a way, man, to, like, you know, bring in martial law. You know what I mean? The government is going to be shut down, and besides, like, the government being shut down, you know, like this, you know what I mean, this right here has a lot of racial implications, you know what I mean, involved into it. But I'm going to say, like, when it come down to Antifa and the alt-left, this is nothing but white people going at each other. You feel me? This is nothing but, like, white people from, like, the far right, white people from the white people from the far right and white people from the far left, and they are out there clashing. And I'm definitely going to say to my people and all other people of color, fall the fuck back from this shit. Do not get involved in this thing. This shit is definitely being staged, and this shit is, like, definitely coming from the top. And I'm saying to y'all, leave leave that shit the fuck alone. Don't get involved in none of that shit, because your life is much more important, you know what I'm saying, when you, like, dealing with a lot of these protests, and a lot of this shit is being staged. You know, so I had to put together this video, man. You know, share my thoughts up on this shit, light up on this thing. And I'm definitely going to come with another video about this thing right here. You know, keep on liking and subscribing to my channel. You'll always appreciate the love. And this is B Miles coming to you live once again from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. One love once again. Peace.